Hi, Advanced Geometry. Okay, so here we go. This is your video on 11.4. I've had such a hard time getting everything to work. Things keep fritzing out. My iPad keeps fritzing out. Hopefully it works this time. Okay, so this first part, if we do it, we're going to do it in class no matter what. We're either going to do it before you watch this video or we will do it after we watch the video, if we do it at all, because it's interesting, but it is not absolutely necessary for you to understand the rest of the stuff. Okay, so this part is necessary for you to understand the rest of the stuff, and it has to do with the terms polyhedra and polyhedron. So the polyhedron is the singular, and it is a solid bound by polygons, exactly what it says there. And then you've got a prism, you've got a pyramid. Those are examples of polyhedra. And then three examples of 3D figures that are not polyhedra are the cylinder, the cone, and the sphere. Why? Because the cylinder, the cone, and the sphere all have circles in them somewhere. So a polygon, if you remember, has to have edges. It can't have, it's not a circle, it can't be a circle. So a circle is not a polygon. All right, so you've got a prism or a pyramid, and there are different types of each of those, obviously. Like there's triangular prisms, there's hexagonal prisms. It all depends on what the base is. And then you have the cylinder, the cone, and the sphere, which are not polyhedra. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to tell whether the solid is a polyhedron. That is it bound by polygons? If it is, name it. If it's not, just say no. All right, so A, take a look at this thing. What does this look like to you? Hopefully you said prism. The top and the bottom are rectangles, sides are rectangles, and even the front and the back are also rectangles. It's marked that way. So this is a rectangular prism, and it is a polyhedron. So I'll put yes, so that we know, yes, it's a polyhedron. All right, what about B? What is that? Is that bound by polygons? Well, let's see. We've got some triangles in there, and the bottom looks like that's a hexagon. So the answer is yes. And these are named by the base, which in this case is a hexagon. So this is a hexagonal prism. Pyramid, not prism. Hexagonal pyramid, that's what I meant to say. Okay, what about C? Is that a polyhedron? Nah, of course not. No, it's got a circle in it. That base is a circle, so no, it's not. Okay, try 1, 2, and 3 on your own. Say yes or no, and if it is, then name it. I'll be back. Okay, so hopefully you got these answers. Yes, no, yes. Square pyramid, because the base is a square. We know that because of the markings at 90-degree angle and all those tick marks. And then number 3, triangular prism, and that's because there's a triangle here. When we get to the formulas for these, you need to make the triangle the base, even though you think of the base as the bottom, but it's not. But we'll talk more about that as we get to it. All right, here's the next part. Cross section, shape formed by the intersection of a plane and a solid. In other words, if you cut it in the middle, what's it going to look like? Or it might not even be in the middle. It might be somewhere else. But if you cut it where it indicates you would cut it, what are you going to have? What kind of a plane figure are you going to have? That is a flat 2D figure as opposed to the 3D figure. So for A, if I were to cut that hexagonal prism in half, I'm going to have a hexagon. It would be here, 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 and here. That's what I would get. So the cross section is a hexagon. All right, for B, again, if I were to take that pyramid and I were to slice it, what would I have? I would have something with edges that look like that. That would be a triangle. And then for C, if I were to cut that cylinder right down, it's not really the middle, but you know, if I were to cut it in half long ways, that's a rectangle. Okay, so what do you think about the rest of these? I will pause and I will come back. Okay, there are your answers for D, E, and F. Hope you got those right. Okay, so for this next thing, this is something that is you have to visualize. So what you're going to be doing here is you are going to take this solid, this 2D solid figure, and you are going to rotate it around an axis. And so that's what this is. So a 3D figure formed by rotating a 2D figure around a line called an axis of revolution. So you're supposed to sketch the solid produced by rotating the figure around the axis. Now you may have seen this before or you may not have seen this before. So what I have for you is actually a little demonstration, and I'm actually going to switch to that. So I will be right back. Okay, so I just found this. And what he's actually doing here, he's writing a formula in GeoGebra, and he's going to rotate that parabola around the axis. There he is. He's rotating it around the y-axis. So this is just a formula that he wrote in GeoGebra, and you can kind of see that that is what is happening. For some reason, there's no sound on this. I don't know why. But that is the rotating of a parabola around an axis. So you can kind of see how that works. So then there's some other fancy stuff that he's doing there. But that is what you are going to have to visualize in this section. Okay? All right. Okay, so what we're really going to do is A. It says sketch the solid produced by rotating the figure around the given axis, then identify and describe the solid. So you've got this rectangle, and you are going to rotate it around basically what is the x-axis. You can picture it as the x-axis. So how's that going to go? Hopefully you see that that's going to go around in a circle. So it's going to be, there's going to be circles in there, but there's also going to be rectangles in there because we're starting with a rectangle. So hopefully you can see what that would be. And I really hope you said to yourself, I think that's going to be a cylinder, because that's exactly what it's going to be. So if you were to sketch that, you could draw a line, and the circle part is going to be, oh, geez, gosh. Come on. The circle part is going to be here and here. And then it's going to be bound by those two. So you're going to have a cylinder once you rotate that rectangle around the axis. And so this distance from here to here is going to be 4, because it's going to be just like the rectangle the way it is. This distance is going to be 9. Of course, this distance is also going to be 4. So the radius of the circle on the cylinder this way is 4. Radius over here is 4. Okay, so that's going around. Okay, so it says sketch it. Well, we just did that. And identify and describe. So it is a cylinder. Describe. Cylinder where the bases are going to be on left and right. I don't know. I'm just, you can just say cylinder. It's fine. So a cylinder on its side, I guess you could say that. But you can just write cylinders. It's fine. Okay, so for B, all right, this time we've got a vertical axis. We're going to take a triangle and we're going to rotate that around. So you're going to have to kind of visualize what would that be. Again, there's going to be a circle in there somewhere, kind of like, you know, here You know, there's a lot of roundness to this. And so all of these are going to be like that. There's going to be some roundness to it. Where am I? I lost it. There it is. All right, so you got to figure out what part is going to be round. And hopefully you said the base is going to be round and it's all going to be round going up to the top. Well, what is that? That's a cone, right? Where everything is round and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That's a cone. So if I draw that, my circle is going to be at the bottom there. All right, so this is 2 and this is 5. So that's one way that you could describe this cone. Cone where the base has a radius of 2 and the height is 5. You could do the same thing for the cylinder. Radius of the base is 4. Height is 9. There we go. All right. So that's basically how that's going to go. I hope that makes sense. And maybe you've done this before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you've done this before. Okay, so here's your turn. And yeah, I'm just going to let you try it and I will be back. Okay, guys, here's the answers to the your turn. And so hopefully that's what you got. We'll see that, by the way, is a 7 over there with the sphere that's radius 7. You know, yes, that's it. Okay, now for this very last question, it says it's an exit ticket, but yeah, whatever. Sketch and name the different cross sections of a cube. So you're gonna have to think about that. So go back to these cross sections. You guys know what a cube is. So remember, these are the cross sections. You know what a cube is. Cube looks like this. It's not the most perfect cube, but you get the idea. All right, so think about what you could make if you were to slice that cube in some way. Could be up and down, could be left and right, could be diagonal. You don't have to go right through the middle. You can do a little part of it. So just think about it, because this is not easy, okay? It's not easy. So think about it. Think about the different ones. And I'll give you a hint. It's more than 3. So if you only come up with 3, there are more. And I'm going to come back in a minute, and then we're going to do process of elimination. Okay? All right. So think about it while I hit pause. Okay, so maybe you came up with some of these that I wrote down. Not all of them will work, but maybe you came up with some. I would imagine you came up with square. That part is easy. Circle, is it possible to get a circle? Are you going to get any curved? Nah, it's not going to work. So you can scratch that off. All right, maybe you came up with a triangle. Triangle will definitely work. You just have to cut off a corner, and I'm actually going to show you that in a minute. Now, here's the thing. Rhombus, hexagon, and pentagon all work. They all work, which I actually had to look up because I didn't remember. Because this is not something that I've taught before. I've taught this section, but not this particular question I'd never seen before. All right, so anyway, so I looked it up, and what I figured out, I'm actually going to show you. All right, so I just looked it up. And so here is a trapezoid. Actually, I don't think I had that one on there. Trapezoid is actually one of them. This one is a 4-sided figure, just a quadrilateral. This one is a pentagon. You get this little part here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is the triangle that I mentioned. This one is the hexagon. And then the rhombus is actually down here. So just something to think about. That is not the type of question that you're going to see on a test, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Okay, so that's all we've got for the video, and have a great day. Bye.